It's mostly a two-bedroom apartment.
Wayne Wen is proud of his home in the Rainier Valley, not just because of the open space or the access to transit, but because the Seattle housing levy allows him to pay $600 a month in rent.
Without affordable housing, there's no way that we could live here.
Wayne, a wrestling coach at Franklin High School, and his wife, an artist and social worker, make less than $40,000 a year and are raising 2 kids.
It's a stretch. It's a stretch living in the city of Seattle like that.
The Wens are one of thousands of families in Seattle getting support from the levy based on their income. They say they were lucky to get into this artist loft based on their contributions to the arts. At a recent levy renewal campaign kickoff event, the Wens helped put a face on a challenging truth in Seattle. About half of us pay more than a third of our income on housing costs.
So we want to be able to say, hey, Seattle, if you want to be an inclusive city, you gotta help out other people who are less fortunate.
Seattle voters have supported 4 levies for housing since 1986, but Mayor Ed Murray wants to take a bold step in 2016.
We should pass the largest housing affordability levy in Seattle's history.
He wants to double the 7-year levy from $145 to $290 million, which would cost the median homeowner about $122 per year, up from $61 currently.
How can we find a balance?
The levy would help 4,500 families like the Wens with rental assistance and help 380 families either stay in their homes or purchase a home for the first time. But Glenn Singer isn't buying it.
My heart's with the housing levy, and we need to do something socially, but my head and my gut's not with the number we came up with.
Glenn lives in Wallingford, is active in his neighborhood council, and is well aware he's fortunate to own a high-value home in Seattle.
I'm not telling you that we're hurting.
But as a retiree living on a fixed income, he's concerned that the housing levy is the 3rd request from the city in the past 5 years to at least double the size of a major levy.
People aren't going to be able to afford to stay here.
Specifically, Glenn has a problem with the housing levy's rental housing and preservation program. The new proposal calls for 2,500 new and renovated units at a cost of $201 million. But the last levy built and renovated more units for about half the price.
Where's the extra money going?
City staffers have told him higher land prices and inflation are mainly to blame. But Glenn, who worked in the building materials industry for decades, says the numbers don't add up.
I want to make sure before I vote for a levy that it's justified and that it's going to do good and not just, trust me.
We have to get creative and do things bigger.
Janet Pope, executive director of Compass Housing Alliance, says the city is dealing with 2 interconnected major problems at once: skyrocketing rents and a homeless state of emergency.
We're on a really dangerous slope right now, allowing things like tent cities or tiny houses that are a step up because they have a lock on the door, but they still don't have a bathroom.
Compass Housing provides services and shelter for Seattle's low-income and homeless people and develops affordable housing from downtown to South Lake Union to Ballard and beyond.
We work with a lot of folks who were fishermen and they've never known anywhere else except for Ballard, and now they're living in their car because there is no place that they can afford to live.
Pope says the levy will provide crucial dollars for developers to build more affordable units, which will take some pressure off overworked social service agencies.
We know we're not going to build our way out of homelessness, but we have to find ways to unlog jam the system. We need to ramp it up. We need to do it bigger, or the city's going to be unrecognizable for all of us.
Seattle is already unrecognizable for Faye Garneau when it comes to her property tax bill.
This city is getting to be very expensive.
The longtime activist financed the anti-Move Seattle levy campaign last fall. But she couldn't stop the $930 million transportation measure from passing and won't campaign against the housing levy.
It was dirty politics, and I decided I'd sit out this one.
Garneau, a commercial property developer in North Seattle, says small businesses are feeling the impact, with property tax rates in the city rising by 25% since 2005.
The more taxes that I have on my commercial real estate, the more my rents have to go up.
And she's skeptical that making larger investments in public housing will make a dent on the issues of rising rents and homelessness.
It's not going to solve that by passing another levy. It's just going to increase everybody's cost of living.
It's a request for services that are sorely needed. The question now, is it too much?
Right now, I can't support it.
You have a nice house, you have a nice place to live. Why not share some of it to people that can't afford it?